Why did it come to this? Was I wrong? Even though I work hard at my job and household chores, neither my husband nor my mother-in-law acknowledges my efforts. A feeling of frustration swirled in my chest, and it was unbearably painful.
You only earn $1,000 a month, right? If you're not going to divorce, at least support your husband as a full-time housewife. That would be much better for the family.
I heard something snap in my head. This is a good opportunity. I should really divorce a husband who doesn't even help with the chores. All right. I'll divorce. This was the trigger that led to the discovery of my husband's outrageous lies, and both my mother-in-law and husband ended up in a debt hell. My name is Sadie. I'm a woman in my 30s working as an office worker. Although I'm married and living with my husband Jeremiah, our relationship isn't very good. Even when I come home tired from work, Jeremiah doesn't help with any of the housework. He seems to think that all the housework is my responsibility. Sometimes we argue, but since I'm usually tired, I end up giving in. Taking advantage of my reluctance to push back strongly, Jeremiah becomes more and more arrogant. I'll stop complaining about Jeremiah here. There are other things that are truly painful. Among the issues related to Jeremiah, the most serious one concerns my mother-in-law, Valentina. I've never met a more troublesome person than Valentina. Valentina, who divorced a few years ago and is now single, lives separately from us but frequently visits our home, probably because she lives nearby.
I just want to help my dear son and his wife a little. I want to be useful.
She says such things, but it's all talk. She has never actually helped with anything. She just sits around watching TV while munching on snacks from our house. Watching Valentina's disgraceful behavior, I always sigh quietly. Please, do that at your own home. Don't show such behavior at our place. No matter how I think about it, it seems to me that she visits our home just to kill time. Well, it's still better if they just do nothing, but Valentina, together with Jeremiah, sometimes causes me a lot of stress. And it's the kind of stress that's unbearable and fatal. One day, after finishing an enormous amount of work and returning home exhausted, thinking I could finally take a breather, I found Valentina and Jeremiah in the living room. I could only be exasperated by Valentina, who was there as if it were the most natural thing. I couldn't understand it, but it seemed they were just sitting and waiting for the food to be served.
You're quite late. Make dinner quickly.
Jeremiah is right. We're starving here.
Jeremiah and Valentina were rushing me as if it were only natural for me to cook. I felt my fatigue double. My work was just entering its busy season, and on this day, I had managed to come home relatively early. Jeremiah and Valentina didn't know this, so they said whatever they pleased without any consideration. Valentina, in particular, probably didn't understand the difficulty of my work or even the meaning of my work. It was useless to argue with such people. I'm sorry, I said, offering a perfunctory apology, and dragged my exhausted body to change clothes, tied the apron strings, and retreated to the kitchen. There wasn't much in the refrigerator. There were barely enough ingredients for 2 people, but making enough for 3 was questionable. It couldn't be helped. I didn't have the energy to go shopping after work, and I had no way of knowing Valentina would be there. Besides, it was absurd that I had to cook for Valentina as well. I sighed as I cut the carrot that had been lying in the corner of the refrigerator. The sound of the knife chopping the carrot mixed with the sound of the TV and the exaggerated laughter of Jeremiah and Valentina from the living room. I wished they would at least help, but it was always like this, so there was nothing I could do. Forcing my tired body to move, I somehow continued cooking. I managed to prepare soup, reheated bean sauté, and salad, making 3 dishes each. Just as I was about to carry them to the living room, Jeremiah, lured by the smell, came in. His face gradually clouded over. The next moment, Jeremiah and Valentina said something shocking.
What is this? After making us wait so long, this is all we get? And bean sauté again? I give you so much money every month. Make something more luxurious.
Really? Can't you make something better? Usually, you should make at least 7 dishes. Are you feeding Jeremiah such meager meals every day?
They insulted me without any consideration for my tired body. I couldn't help but hang my head. Making more than 7 dishes for dinner every day after work is impossible for an ordinary housewife. Valentina probably didn't do that much even when she was younger, and certainly not now. I didn't see Valentina as such a diligent person. Unable to bear it any longer, I said in a trembling voice, "I'm sorry. This is all I could manage. But today, I had a lot of work and was very tired, so I couldn't go shopping. Please forgive me with this amount." Before I could finish, more insults came flying.
You can go shopping after work, can't you? Can't you even do housework properly as a wife? You're a useless wife. At least have Jeremiah help, I said.
Ha! What are you talking about? I'm tired from work too. And you have the nerve to ask for help?
Jeremiah is earning well, isn't he? It's only natural for him to rest at home. Supporting him is your job as a housewife, isn't it? You're really a useless wife.
Valentina even went as far as to say that if I had complaints, I should start earning properly first. She seemed to have no intention of understanding my struggles from the beginning. I had no energy to retort and could only keep bowing my head. This kind of exchange didn't start today. Every time Valentina comes to our house, this kind of back and forth repeats. It feels like her insults escalate each time. Especially recently, I've been called a useless wife more frequently. I may not be perfect as a housewife, but I want her to understand that I'm doing my best. I can't endure this much longer. One day, after such incidents had been continuing, I took a paid leave and stayed home from work. Seeing my pale face at the office, my boss, unable to bear it, gave me the day off. It was truly a blessing amidst the ongoing busy season. Fortunately, Jeremiah was out for work. I was genuinely relieved, not knowing what kind of argument might ensue if we met. That morning, thinking I could finally relax, I heard the front door open violently with a clatter. Suspecting something, I jumped off the sofa and rushed over, only to find Valentina standing there as expected. By now, I was used to it, But does this person not have the concept of ringing the intercom?
Oh? Jeremiah isn't here today?
She said as she barged into the house. Valentina plopped down on the sofa where I had been lying just moments ago.
Why are you at home today?
When I said I had the day off, Valentina let out a conspicuous sigh.
You took paid leave, didn't you? With such little earnings, you don't have time to rest, do you?
Somehow, she seemed even more irritable than usual today. Valentina noticed the leaves of the houseplant next to the sofa. A thin layer of dust had settled on their surface. By the time I realized it, it was too late. Valentina slid her index finger over the leaf, showing me the dust she had collected, and said,
What is this? Are you really cleaning properly?
Her words accusing me of neglecting my cleaning duties were mercilessly thrown at me. Valentina's eyes moved to the hard-to-clean areas like the window sills and the corners of the room. Harsh words kept coming, criticizing this and that. I could only look down and endure it.
Honestly, it's strange that an elite like Jeremiah married a poor woman like you.
The lecture had somehow shifted to my marriage with Jeremiah. Valentina seemed to still hold a grudge about my lack of financial stability at the time of our marriage. Indeed, back then, I was undeniably poor. My income was not high, and my lifestyle and appearance were modest. But I have changed since getting married. I work hard to support our household and earn a respectable amount. Why should I be dragged through the mud for my past and called poor? I almost started crying but held back.
Just divorce Jeremiah already.
Suddenly, those words were thrown at me. Her reasoning seemed to be that her son, an elite, deserved someone better than a poor woman like me. The sudden words pierced my heart. Even though I don't love Jeremiah now, the word divorce was quite a shock. It felt like my existence, which had been clinging to the somewhat stable concept of family, was being exposed.
Divorce? Just like that?
Valentina continued with even more surprising words.
Jeremiah earns $70,000 a year. And yet, what was that dinner the other day? Such a meager meal. Poor Jeremiah.
I had no idea what Valentina was talking about.
You only earn $1,000 a month, right? If you're not going to divorce, at least quit that job and support Jeremiah as a full-time housewife. That would be much better for the family.
How did you even know about our income?
Jeremiah showed me the bank account. He said he earns this much.
I was stunned. The $70,000 annual income was mine, and it was Jeremiah who only earned $1,000 a month. The $70,000 bank account Jeremiah showed you is mine.
What are you talking about? Are you trying to lie now, on top of being a poor woman who can't even do housework properly?
It's Jeremiah who is lying. I regretted marrying such a pathetic Jeremiah. I felt ashamed of myself for finding comfort in the relationship of husband and wife.
You're not looking down on Jeremiah, are you? After all the help he's given you, if you're going to tell such ridiculous lies, you should just get divorced already.
I heard a snapping sound in my head. This is a good opportunity. I should really divorce Jeremiah, who doesn't even help with the housework. All right. I will divorce Jeremiah. Thus, I decided to divorce Jeremiah, packed my things, and actually left the house. I had been working tirelessly and supporting the family as best as I could. Yet, neither Jeremiah nor Valentina appreciated my efforts. How did it come to this? Was I wrong? These thoughts swirled in my mind, making me feel unbearably miserable. After leaving the house, I returned to my parents' home to rest my weary heart and body. My parents' home, which I hadn't visited in a long time, gently embraced my exhausted self. Although work remained busy, being far away from the source of my stress, Jeremiah and Valentina allowed me to spend my days in peace. One day, while I was freely taking a day off without anyone reproaching me, my smartphone rang in the living room. The caller ID displayed Valentina. I had a bad feeling. Hello?
Sadie?
Valentina's unusual tone made me hesitate. Once she calmed down enough to talk, she told me about the situation after I left. After I left, Valentina had been doing all the housework. One day, when Valentina checked the bank account for household management, she found a balance of only $100. Naturally, it was Jeremiah's account. Shocked by the difference from the previous balance she had seen, Valentina confronted Jeremiah. Jeremiah admitted that the balance was the living expenses for a month. He then confessed that the account he had shown before was mine, and his monthly income was only $1,000. Jeremiah, who had been praised by Valentina as an elite earner, had been hiding the truth out of pride. Valentina, who had ignored my words, had no idea and fully believed the false figure of $70,000 annual income, spending money to live an ideal life. Eating what she wanted, wearing what she wanted, buying what she wanted. Jeremiah's already small balance kept decreasing. As a result, Valentina and Jeremiah were on the brink of falling into a debt hell.
So please, help us somehow. I apologize for everything. Just come back immediately.
Valentina's desperate and shallow words made me sigh in exasperation. How could she say such things so shamelessly? The harsh words that Valentina and Jeremiah had said to me came back to my mind. Make dinner quickly, at least do the cleaning, quit your job and become a housewife, poor woman. I could never forgive them. Of course, I felt no sympathy at all. It was time to say what I had always wanted to say but couldn't. Why don't you have your elite son earn money for you? I coldly said that and hung up the phone with a click, leaving Valentina's voice, which was making some noise on the other end, behind. Still fuming, I looked at my smartphone's address book. There were Valentina and Jeremiah's phone numbers. I deleted those annoying contacts. For good measure, I also set them to be blocked. I had to free myself from Valentina and Jeremiah's curse. To sever this relationship quickly and surely, I took further action. I searched for a reputable lawyer online and through acquaintances. The lawyer I found quickly facilitated my divorce from Jeremiah. I completely cut ties with my in-laws. Finally, I was free from the annoying entanglements with my in-laws. According to rumors, Valentina and Jeremiah ended up in debt as expected. In the end, they had to apologize to Jeremiah's father to support them. Well, it no longer concerns me. I will live my life without being swayed by anything. Since the divorce, my work performance has improved remarkably. My boss praises me more often. My friends say I laugh more. I am happy with everything, feeling that I have truly gained freedom, separated from that past. I vowed to use my past misfortunes as a springboard and continue to strive hard.
How did you like this story? Please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.